Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur.
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the ball!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Stanley pour les Canadiens, leur 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. Tibi. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Marinaro on this Monday, August 4th. I hope you're all doing well, watching on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitter. Thanks for being there. And Brian Wilde will join me from Global TV Montreal in just a couple of minutes. And tonight we're going to talk about Nick Bobrov and the job that he's done scouting for the Montreal Canadiens as one of their co-directors, of course, of scouting for the amateur scouting, that is. And we're going to get to Brian in just a couple of minutes. Before we do, I'll talk to you about Energy Transportation Group, a leading full-service logistics provider serving all of North America, driven to be different. I saw earlier today on LinkedIn, as a matter of fact, they hired a new director of finance, so wishing him all the best in his new endeavors. It's a great place to work. Check out the career section at shipenergy.com. It's a top fleet employer. Just ask Forbes magazine. Also brought to you in part by Bittt Tibi. They launched their new Ultra Lager. More and more people are talking about Bittt Tibi, and more importantly, more and more people are making Bittt Tibi their beer of choice. It's a refreshing, thirst-quenching beer, perfect for the summer with only 90 calories, 2 grams of carbs, 4% ABV per can, available in a pack of 6 and 12 in grocery stores all around the province of Quebec. Ultra light, ultra refreshing, and today was a scorcher, and it's going to be hot the rest of the week, so get your Bittt Tibi in those grocery stores all around the province of Quebec right now. Without further ado, let's bring him in. Brian Wilde, how are you?
I'm very well, and I'm excited about tonight's topic. I think it's a doozy.
Oh, really, eh? Okay,
Oh,
good.
I do.
I'm excited about it as well because, look, it's not easy, even though everyone thinks it's easy, right?
Yeah.
Talking about the Montreal Canadiens 12 months a year, all right? Yes, we can cut corners if we want to and just talk about whatever just for the sake of putting out a podcast. We don't do that.
Like make a rumor.
Yeah, you know what?
Just like a new one.
It's funny. It's funny because, you know, so many podcasts have had like 8,000 players coming to the Montreal Canadiens this summer, and it didn't happen, right? Basically,
Of course
with
not.
the exception of well, there was Bolduc and there was Noah Dobson, of course, but other than that, all those other the second line centermen, they should have had 18 second line centermen by now, Brian, right? And
Yeah,
by the way,
exactly.
speaking of which, it's not our topic today, but we can get to it. Max Truman reported earlier today of Donnie Coulisses that based on his information, Kirby Dach is spending his offseason in Edmonton. He's working out with Caden Gooley, among others, and Dach is still in the rehabilitation phase. So we saw him probably, when was it? I don't know when it was, but
3 weeks ago, I would say.
Yeah, 3-4 weeks ago, we saw him in Montreal, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't making, you know, he was a few steps here and there, a couple of
Gingerly,
wrist shots,
like
very
Lafleur coming
gingerly,
down the
that's
right side.
Exactly that. But for, you know, he's still in the rehabilitation phase. And listen, training camp opens up in about 40 days from now, right? So I think it's something to consider. Not to say that he won't be ready for training camp, because 40 days, there's a lot that happens in 40 days. But when pros go through an ACL injury and they go through it twice in a span of 3 years, you want to take your time with it, right? Because, you know, one more setback would be just absolutely devastating. So, you know, you have to be prudent in a case like this. And so there's just a little bit of information on Kirby Dach. All right, okay. You want to talk about Nick Bobrov, and I think the conversation, you said it's going to be interesting, and I think it is interesting, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's interesting. Bobrov's first draft was 2022. In the world of scouting, even though there's no set rule, a lot of people like to give 5 years before taking a look at seeing, what's happened, because let's face it, a lot of these players are coming out of the States, and if the player's not drafted first overall, chances are he's not playing in the National Hockey League in the first year. And players that you draft, sometimes it takes about 3 years before they play their first game in the National Hockey League. And the Canadiens have some players in both categories, some that made the jump right away, some that made the jump 1 year later, and some that'll probably make the jump in about 3 years from now. But you want to talk about Bobrov, which I think is cool. And what do you want to do? You want to rate his work up to date?
Absolutely. Yeah. And put it in the large context as well, because one of the things that I found, Tony, the most difficult to sell to a fan base is the statistical differences, not only overall, but in the first round. Because one of the favorite things fans like to say is he didn't even land his first rounder. But if you're drafting 27th in the first round, it's vastly different than even when you're drafting 13th in the first round, never mind 1 or 5 or 7. The statistics, when you go over them, and I did a long study on it, took a long time to do, spent a tremendous amount of time on this to come up with these numbers. So basically you have a hit rate there of an NHL regular. We called an NHL a regular somebody who had 250 games in their career. An NHL star I defined as a 0.75 per game player as a forward, and a 0.5 per game as a defenseman points. So in this instance, you have just this crazy difference between 1 through 5. They're going to be an NHL regular. In fact, that 95 would have been 100 if not for Yakupov. The NHL star would be 50%. And in that grouping, you have not yet Slafkowski earning that nod because he hasn't hit 60 points, but very close. But you obviously have him as an NHL regular already. Now, you can see as we go down here, Tony, you've got regulars in round 7 of only 5% and almost never lands a star. Round 5, you've got an NHL star. That 1%, I believe Brendan Gallagher is the player from the 5th round there. And then you can go up and see those picks and the difference between 21 to 30 in landing versus star versus 1 through 5. Landing versus star. And I think that it's easy to lose sight when you say to yourself, oh, well, he missed on that pick. Like, for example, Machar, that's one you could say, well, he missed on that pick. Well, it's a 50-50 proposition where they picked Machar. So
let's get to that.
That's okay.
Yeah, let's get to that in just a second. The reason why I say that is because you put together a chart here, which those who are going to be watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter will see the chart. Those who are going to be listening to the podcast on all other social media platforms will not have the chart. So once again, we're going to recap what Brian said.
Okay.
Brian basically took a look at data, drafts from 2004 to 2014. All right. Span of about 10, 11 years. And Brian has NHL regular being a player who has played 250 plus games, and for a defenseman, picking up 0.5 points per game, which is 41 points in a season. And for a forward, to be an NHL star would be what, 0.75 points per game or more?
Exactly. If it started with a 6, I essentially put it in that category.
It's that would average out to 62 points. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So picks 1 to 5. As we see here on the chart, 95% of them become NHL regulars.
That's right.
50%
That's right. And I believe
them,
the 2 players that didn't make it were Yakupov, and the Islanders took Griffin Reinhart.
Okay. And becoming an NHL star, 50%. Pick 6 to 10, 80% become NHL regulars, and 20% become NHL stars. Picks 11 to 20, 65% become NHL regulars, and 10% become NHL stars. And I'm going to end it at pick 21 to 30 for a second here. 50% become NHL regulars, and 7% become NHL stars. I love that you put together this chart. I'm going to tell you why. So the Canadiens, I think they think it's safe to say they've turned the corner in terms of the rebuild, right? But when they were in that rebuild about 3.5+ years ago, when they used to win games, I used to be one of those. Used to be damn, and a lot of people used to say, "Well, come on, what's the difference whether they finish 5th or 10th? What's the statistically? There's a difference.
It's massive.
You
5
have it here in
versus
this
10
chart.
is massive.
It's massive.
It's absolutely massive. And of course, you have fluctuations from year to year too, Tony. Like Michael Hage at 21 last year is way better than the grouping at 21 this year, for example.
Yeah.
There are strong years and weak years. Slavkovsky was, a difficult year, obviously, compared to Connor McDavid. So you have fluctuations, and that's why I did a 10-year sample instead of a smaller sample of 2 or 3 years. You wanted to even out that sampling by including a lot of years.
Why don't we bring up Bobrov's first year at the head of the draft for the Montreal Canadiens alongside Martin Lapointe? It's important that we bring it up. And the Canadiens, of course, that year had Juraj Slavkovsky first overall, Philip Michar 26th overall, Owen Beck 33rd overall, Lane Hutson 62nd overall, Vincent Rohrer 75th, Adam Engstrom 92nd, Cedric Guindon 127, Jared Davidson 130, Emmett Croteau 162, Petteri Nurmi 194, and Miguel Tourigny at 216. Okay, that chart that you have. We'll leave the Canadiens' names here just a second, okay? Mm-hmm. We'll leave the names, and I want to take a look at the chart, okay? Picks 1 to 5, 95% NHL regular, 50% chance of being an NHL star, 62 points. Juraj Slavkovsky, okay? If we take a look at Slavkovsky being the first pick overall in the draft, Slavkovsky's played 200 games, 3 years in. Mm-hmm. And in the last 2 seasons has averaged 50.5 points. If being an NHL star, based on your equation that you put together here, is 62 points. Yeah. Brian, we can debate whether or not he should have been the first pick overall, and we'll know for certain at the end of his career. But I think there's a pretty good chance that he's going to become an NHL star based on what we've seen here.
Yeah, definitely. And it needs to be reiterated what you said at the top of the show, that, you do this graphic and you do this study and you let everybody be 5 years out, obviously, right? You can't make this assessment, 250 game regular when the guy, is 22. You got to give a guy a chance to be 26, 27 to see if he's going to land or not. So for Slavkovsky, obviously the final verdict isn't in on him because he's only played 3 years. But yes, he's definitely trending towards star. He's close to the point total already. He's definitely landing as a regular. He's already close to the 250 there. So it was a tough draft, but I think Bobrov did exceptionally well. When you look over the entire draft, I think only an argument can be made that Logan Cooley is in the same class as Slavkovsky. Maybe right. Gauthier soon.
If we take a look at Philip Michar at 26, 50% chance of being an NHL regular from picks 21 to 30, only 7% chance of being an NHL star. If he doesn't pan out, and so far he's played below expectations, I think it's safe to say. Yeah. It's not a bust. It's 50% chance.
That's it. That's what's so important and why I really wanted to talk about this tonight, because the criticism is really strong that a scout has missed on this. But if you look at the Canadiens' history under Trevor Timmins, from 20 to 30 is just a nightmare of misses. It's one miss after another. And the reason is that's a hard place to land a player between 20 and 30, especially in a weak draft year like this last one was. So I've always felt that Trevor Timmins was unduly criticized. I think he did an excellent job. In the NHL, when they do it themselves, what they try to say is, did we land 2 players? Like scouts will say, we want to land 2 players, or at least 1 player. We can't strike out completely and build a team. And when you look at the 2022 year, I think you can say definitively that Bobrov had an outstanding year. He's already landed 2 players, 2 stars, and I don't think we're done with Beck or Engstrom. So what a draft he had in his first year for Montreal.
And I don't think it's out of the question that Jared Davidson plays with the Montreal Canadiens maybe as early as this upcoming season. So we'll
It's
get
not
to that.
out of the question.
We'll get to that in just a second. Not before I talked about another one of our partners is Playground. If you're looking for the ultimate entertainment destination, Playground is your ticket to nonstop thrills. Experience heart-pumping gaming action, a world-class poker experience. Playground, the 2025 winner of Fan Choice Best Poker Room at the Global Poker Awards. Indulge your taste buds at their incredible restaurants. Let loose with live music, electrifying DJs. Enjoy unmatched customer service just minutes from downtown Montreal, right across the Mercier Bridge. Why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary at Playground? It's all there. Visit playground.ca to discover more. Are the Montreal Canadiens going to make the playoffs next year? It's definitely something that you can get in on the action. Who's going to win the MLS Cup? Definitely something you can get in on the action. You want to pick your Super Bowl winner even before the Super Bowl, before the NFL season starts? You can go all the way with Betway. Get a free bet up to $200. If your first bet loses, scan the QR code on the screen. Click on the link in the details section to create an account. Redeem your welcome offer. Offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. Offers not available in Ontario. Must be 18 years of age and older. And please play responsibly. All right, okay.
And Tony,
yeah.
What action you got at Betway for Lane Hutson to win the Calder? I mean, he was the third choice right up till mid-March.
You're right about that.
Incredible.
So now let's talk about Hutson, and we'll talk about Owen Beck, because Owen Beck went 33rd. 30% chance of him being an NHL regular, 3% chance of him being a star. Hutson went after 60. He went 62nd. 15% chance of being an NHL regular. But get this, where the Canadiens drafted him, there's only 2% chance of drafting a player that will be a star. And Lane Hutson showed everyone already in year one that he is a star. By the way, not yet official by USA Hockey. But I don't know if you saw this, but I reported on Friday.
Retweeted it. Mm-hmm.
I reported on Friday that I'm hearing that Lane Hutson will not be on USA Hockey's list for their orientation camp for the 2026 Olympics later on this month. So you know what? You're going to nod your head. I'll nod my head too, but it's not official yet, but I'm comfortable with the information. So you know what? It'll be another podcast once they make it official. All right. Okay. And then we can, the smoke could come out of our ears again. But so if there was only 50% chance of Mishar being an NHL regular, let's say they strike out there, but there's only 30% chance of Owen Beck being an NHL regular. I like the Canadiens' chances right now. I know Owen Beck is not an NHL regular thus far. And it's, you know what? We don't even know if he's going to start the year with the Canadiens, but he has some solid attributes to his game, Brian, that don't lie.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a complete player. He's a two-way player. He won a Memorial Cup because he's such a great player. I believe he was the MVP of that Memorial Cup as well. I might be mistaken there, but he had a really solid Memorial Cup. And that type of complete centerman is very, very valuable. And I think that he will make it, maybe not as early as next year, Tony. But remember, you've got to give draft picks a nice big window to discover their best selves. I don't think you should give up on a player before the age of 26, 27 if they're a defenseman, and 24, 25 if they're a forward and a goalie. So I think that fans and some media too will give up on a player far too soon, and that they really need to learn their craft, especially defenders, before you give up on them.
So, Brian, when Owen Beck won the Memorial Cup in the 2024 season and was the MVP for the Saginaw Spirit in a game that they won 4-3 over London, do you know the percentage of face-offs that he won?
No, what is it?
In the Memorial Cup? If I'm not mistaken, it was over 70%.
That's a pretty important intangible.
Listen, I mean, that's an incredible number. Now, the Memorial Cup is a small tournament. I think it was 70% for the entire tournament. He definitely had a very high percentage in that last game. But let's not forget that, the year they drafted him, he was the best face-off man in the entire OHL.
Yeah.
In the entire OHL. So when we talk about attributes to his game, his 200-foot game, his tenacity, his discipline, his determination, his hockey IQ, his face-off prowess, the fact that he is more important in the game coaches like to rely on a player like that. He's probably.
You know what his
poor
ceiling is to me, Tony?
Tell me.
His ceiling to me is Jake Evans.
Yeah.
And really solid hockey player, good two-way hockey player, smart, will kill penalties, will do well on face-offs, great hockey IQ, probably top out at 30 points, 35 points at the NHL level, but be a really useful, regular third or fourth line centerman in the NHL when it's all said and done. And for Bobrov, that's a big win at 33 to put a third guy on the board as NHL regular after 2 stars on the board. That's a hell of a draft.
I might regret this. His ceiling for me is higher than Jake Evans.
Okay.
And I compare him to a former Montreal Canadian.
Go on.
Phil Danault.
Okay. Oh, wow. That's high, Tony. Phil Danault.
I know it's high, but let's put things in perspective, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Phil Danault at one point centered a number 1 line for the Montreal Canadiens. He didn't center it because he was a number 1 center.
Yeah.
He centered it because the Canadiens didn't have a lot of depth. Okay.
Right.
Now, Phil Danault picked up 3 seasons in the 50s. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
2 for Los Angeles and 1 for the Montreal Canadiens. I don't know if he'll pick up points in the 50s, but I believe he can pick up points in the 40s. I believe Owen Beck could
Perhaps.
be a 40-point player in the National Hockey League. So I think, put it this way, you said Evans. I'll say he'll be anywhere between an Evans and a Danault, somewhere in between.
I like it. We'll see where it lands. I mean, they're just predictions, but I think we can agree he's a solid hockey player, and he's going to be an NHL player when it's all said and done. You don't win the Memorial Cup. You're not the MVP. You don't run 70% on the face-off circle without being a high-quality hockey player. He also did well for Canada at the World Juniors, too, when he was called upon.
So I'm going to say something now about Lane Hutson, because we're talking about Nick Bobrov and his selections, of course.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of crazy what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. I almost feel like it doesn't really matter what Bobrov will do the rest of the way after drafting Lane Hutson 62nd overall. And tying an NHL record for most assists by a rookie defenseman with 60 in a season. 67 points in the regular season. 7th best for an NHL defenseman. His 60 assists, number 1 on the Montreal Canadiens for assists in the regular season. His 67 points, number 3 for the Canadiens for points. His 5 points in the playoffs, number 1 for the Canadiens in points during the playoffs. His ice time in the playoffs on par with Mike Matheson as more than any other player on the team. Winning the Rookie of the Year. And all of the advanced stats that we know. This selection makes Bobrov, whatever is going to happen next, it makes him a huge pass. A huge pass.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because how many guys do you know? How many scouts do you know, right? Draft a superstar. Not everyone does. Not every scout drafts a superstar. And when they do, some scouts draft a superstar in the top 5. He drafted one at 62nd, and he has an opportunity, I think, to have 2 more superstars, one drafted 1st and one drafted 5th.
And which scouts live in infamy? The ones that pull that off.
Yeah,
Kucherov. You pull Kucherov off, and you will live forever as one of the great scouts. And when you pull off Hutson at 62. Once again, you live right there as a great scout, and nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can take away that player won the Rookie of the Year at a 62nd selection, that player set scoring records in his rookie campaign and has more to go as far as his upside, because I think his upside, we're just still finding he could do another 10, 15 points better than he did last year as he continues to grow his game and continues to have better players who finish his passes around him. So, it's a moment that he can cherish for the rest of his life, and that was done in his first year.
Yeah, and when you talked about Tampa Bay, of course, Al Murray, known for some amazing draft picks with the Tampa Bay Lightning, with Kucherov leading the charge. Okay, I want to get to the 2023 draft year for the Canadiens. Ryan Backer won. Ryan Backer at the Canadiens' first pick at 5th overall. Jacob Fowler at 69th overall. Florian Jacki 101. Bogdan Konushkov at 110. Conte Miller at 128. Sam Harris at 133. Yevgeny Volokin at 144. Philip Eriksson at 165. Luke Mittelstadt at 197. And, of course, all eyes on maybe the top 3, maybe even the top 4. But Ryan Backer, Fowler, Jacki, and, Konushkov maybe in another category. Safe to say you got Ryan Backer and Fowler in the same category, Florian Jacki in another, and then maybe Konushkov in another, who probably will be playing in the KHL till about 2027, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, now we're getting a lot harder to assess because we don't have a lot of history behind us. So Ryan Backer hasn't proven anything, but he's trending very nicely. And Jacob Fowler, again, is trending very nicely, but we don't know what he can achieve at the NHL level. It's impossible to say. But I think people are under the impression that the Canadiens have drafted a lot. And of course, Bobrov has landed because of it. But remember here, you have the second selection at 69. Like the numbers at 69 are like 7% to land in the NHL and 2% to be a star. So this is an opportunity for Bobrov in 2 successive years in a 2% star rate to land a star 2 straight years. Landed a star in Hutson. Looks like he's landing a star in Fowler, who might be the best or second best goaltender not in the NHL today. A lot of people like Kosa, but others like Fowler. And if he ends up being the best one in that group, not yet in the NHL, again, Bobrov has done it at 69 with a 2% chance. Has landed 2 in 2 years, Tony.
And Jacki drafted 100. Florian Jacki drafted at 101.
And when we watch the playoffs, Tony, I think you're going to see the value of Florian Jacki come to the fore the same way as I think you're going to see the value of Tuck come to the fore. The third and fourth lines in tomorrow's NHL are going to keep the score line at 0-0, but punish defensemen. I think that's the blueprint that was done by the Florida Panthers, and everyone is going to try to mock it going forward. And Jacki fits that bill.
And like you said, around there, maybe 7% chance of playing in the National Hockey League, about 15% chance of being an NHL regular, playing at least 250 games. All right, okay. We'll go to the 2024 draft year. 5th overall, Ivan Demidov. 21st overall, Michael Hage. 70th overall, Atos Koivu. 78, Logan Sawyer. 102, Owen Protz. 130, Tyler Thorpe. 134, Vekvanets. 166, Ben Miller, 210, Cannon, and 224, Bergqvist. And, of course, Ivan Demidov. We're watching him put on a show. He did in Game 1 versus the Chicago Blackhawks, his first ever game in the National Hockey League, 1 goal and 1 assist. He's looking really, really good this offseason, where he's been in Montreal pretty much the entire offseason with the exception of a couple of vacations and a wedding or two. But this, once again, 95% chance of being an NHL regular. Yeah, he'll hit it. 50% chance of being an NHL star. I think if you would poll scouts, GMs, league executives right now and say, Ivan Demidov, do you think he'll be a star? I bet you more than 50% will vote yes. I bet you probably 90% will vote that he'll be a star, but your data shows 50%, and I think he's going to hit the nail on the head. Michael Hage drafted at 21, 50% chance of being an NHL regular. Brian, you pull anyone in hockey right now, and do you say, is Michael Hage going to be an NHL regular, 250-plus games in the National Hockey League? Everyone will say yes. Everyone.
And he absolutely shone in the last days. Dale Hunter said he was one of the best players recently in the Summer Showcase. So that was his first chance to really shine for Canada, really get a chance really to shine for Canada. He was passed over some times, quite oddly, actually. And so this was his first opportunity, and he absolutely nailed it. He was fantastic. So they have to be thrilled how he played against his peers there. And Tony, it needs to be said here, this is the third draft. Now, remember, in the National Hockey League, scouts will say what we're trying to do, we consider success, is if we land 2 NHLers, Tony, not land 2 NHL stars, just land 2 guys who make the NHL and are on our roster per year. That's an absolute tremendous victory to scouts. They didn't just land 2 NHLers per year. It looks like they're landing 2 NHL stars per year. Stars, Slafkovsky and Hutson in year 1.
And you know what? I'm not telling you that Koivu is going to be a star, but I want to get to Arturs Koivu because I went to Montreal Canadiens development camp, okay? And I had a discussion. A lot of people came out to me. What do you think of this guy? What do you think of that guy? And I had a lot of people come up to me and said, Arturs Koivu will not play in the National Hockey League. And I said, well, I bet you he will. And they said, he's a long-term project. I said, he can be what he wants. I believe he'll play in the National Hockey League. And they asked me, what do you think? What do you think he plays like? I said, well, I think he plays a lot more like his uncle than he does like his dad. That I'll tell you right now. But Arturs Koivu had a great World Junior Summer Showcase.
Yeah.
He had a great World Junior Summer Showcase. I mean, he was probably the most consistent Montreal Canadiens prospect at that summer showcase. They had 4 of them, by the way. They had defenseman Owen. They had center Michael Hage. They had the center/right winger LJ Mooney and center/right winger Arturs Koivu. Koivu was excellent at the summer showcase, Brian. And at pick number 70, based on your chart, 15% chance of being an NHL regular. This guy's very low. Well, so if you poll right now, once again, NHL GMs and executives after the summer showcase, and you ask them, is Arturs Koivu going to be an NHL regular? I think more than
half,
1 in every 5, because 15% is what, 1 in every 6 point something, almost 7.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine that probably 1 in every 4, 1 in every 5 is going to say, yeah, you know what? This guy will be an NHL regular. So
and again, you come back to 2 stars per draft and with some potentials of a third landing as well in Beck 1 year and Koivu another year and Engstrom in the first year. So again, it's early and optimism is running high, but I think that you've got really a solid consensus that it's 2 stars per year for Bobrov in his first 3 years of drafting. And that is phenomenal, people. It is phenomenal.
Want to thank another one of our sponsors, and that's going to be Accent Insurance Solutions. They actually sponsor a team in the Living Sisu League, by the way, which is played on Tuesday nights for the men and Mondays for the women. You know, all insurance isn't created equal. You know where to find the right solution for you. Accent Insurance. Accent doesn't sell insurance. They shop insurance for you to find the right product right on the money. Whatever your insurance needs, home, automobile, or business, call 514-363-3636 or visit their website, www.accentassurance.com. All right, okay. Now, 2025 draft, which is going to be obviously once again very difficult because they were just drafted at the end of June. But Alexander Zarovsky is a player the Canadiens drafted at 34th overall that some high-end scouts actually had going in the top 20. Mm-hmm. Brian, the Canadiens drafted at 69th overall Hayden Papanekas, and I saw him at their Habs development camp. He's a big man at around 6'5". And of course, the other name that sticks out, there's Pickford, there's Rakoff, there's Cournoyer, there's Handel, McNeil, and Vig. But LJ Mooney in the 4th round at 113th overall. Brian, if this guy ends up playing in the National Hockey League, there's a 15% chance on your chart of being an NHL regular and a 1% chance of being an NHL star. Right. This guy's skills are through the roof, Brian. Through the roof.
I know. I saw them. They really are. Yeah, I mean, obviously the size is an issue, but you're absolutely right. His skill set is dramatic.
So, in conclusion, 4 NHL drafts in, and once again, it's not a huge sample size because in the world of drafting, in any sport, I think a lot of scouts come in and they usually tell their manager, their GM, give me 5 years because my work is going to take at least 5 years to get pretty much a good idea of what I can do. So we're doing this probably a little bit ahead of time.
For sure.
But 4 drafts in, if you were to give fill out a report card for Nick Bobrov, what would it be?
A plus. I give him an A plus. I would say the only miss would probably be Machar, but in that draft, he more than made up for it by getting a superstar at 62. But that would be, I would think, the only reach at that moment. Everybody like Yuri Kulich. I thought they were going to go to Yuri Kulich in that moment, but I'm still not going to take the A plus away from him. He loved Machar's skating, and he thought that he would translate that into being an NHL regular, and that's a pretty good assessment and a good guess at what's going to happen, considering how important skating is. And it just hasn't worked out for Machar yet. Yeah. So I would say that's the only slight miss, but I don't think you can say that your grade deserves to be lower than A plus just because of that. Because like I've been saying, it's at a spot in the draft that it's 50-50.
Yeah, so I'm going to say this. I'm going to give him a huge passing grade, okay? Mm-hmm. I will not give him the A plus just yet because
you need Reinbacher to land.
I need Reinbacher to land. You know exactly what I'm thinking, okay?
Yeah.
So Connor Bedard landed, Leo Carlson landed, Adam Fantilli landed, Will Smith landed. Now, albeit they were all ahead of Reinbacher, but Matvei Michkov, who went in the 7th round, he landed. Ryan Leonard, who went 7th pick, Michkov. Ryan Leonard, who went 8th, he landed. Yeah. Zach Benson has played 146 games with the Buffalo Sabres, Brian. And you know what? Some believe that Reinbacher is not the best defenseman from the draft, and it'll actually be Axel Sandin-Pellikka, who was drafted by the Detroit Red Wings, the 17th overall. Now, once again, the jury's out on that as well, because Sandin-Pellikka has not played a game in the National Hockey League either. All right, so we'll see what happens there. But I can't give him an A plus because Reinbacher hasn't landed yet. We'll see what happens with Reinbacher.
I think that's fair. Yeah,
but I'd be so if A plus is your best grade, and then it's A minus. I'll give him.
It should be said. Sorry to interrupt, Tony. But it should be said that for sure. That everybody that you mentioned in from that draft class is a forward. And, they want a defenseman. They want a right shot defenseman, and they take longer to land. So we do need time to give us a better assessment of that. And then Reinbacher lost a year too to injury, and that hurts the assessment too. But from what people see of his play, they absolutely love it. So I think he trends towards at least being a regular. I don't know if he'll be a 40-point man to fall into my star category, but he'll certainly be a regular. But I still love the draft because I think they got an absolute stud in that in Fowler. And where he was taken, that was a Hutson-type miracle too.
Yeah. Which one is it? There was a player that I think escaped them. I'm trying to think of which player it was.
Escaped Bobrov that he liked?
Yeah, there was. Man, I should have remembered this one. But
what draft year, Tony?
That's what I'm trying to think of. I should get it here in just a second. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Let me see.
Because everybody thought they were going to take Ryan Leonard. I really believe they were going to take Ryan Leonard, and I was surprised when they didn't. I knew they were going to take Michkov, but I really liked Ryan Leonard.
Yeah.
And he'll have a nice career. I don't think Ryan Leonard, though, is going to ever be a 70, 80-point guy. I think he's going to come in around 55, 60, Tony. I would have said it was going to be higher, but I don't think fans will lament, oh, my God, they could have Ryan Leonard and he had 90 points. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, actually,
I don't think he skates well enough.
I think Ryan Leonard will be a playoff performer.
Yeah, he's got a good mindset for the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Once again, hey, listen, you got him as an A plus. I got him as an A, and either those are great scores because once again, Lane Hutson, a star. Juraj Slavkovsky, well on his way.
Yeah.
Ivan Demidov, I think most people will be willing to bet that he's going to be a star. Most NHL GMs and executives believe that Jacob Fowler will be a franchise goalie in the National Hockey League. And,
Michael Hage.
You know what? Michael Hage. Most people seem to believe it's still early that he could be a very prominent second-line center in the National Hockey League, and who knows what his ceiling is. So once again,
best U19 numbers in college. Michael Hage last
impressive.
year. Yeah.
So a big time passing grade for Nick Bobrov. And once again, his connections in Russia, being able to get the inside track on a lot of these Russian players, because, of course, with his dad playing for SKA and the relationship there and him having access to Russia that not everyone else has. This is it's a big time win for the Montreal Canadiens. Nick Bobrov. Brian Wilde scores him A+. Marinaro scores him A. Two amazing grades. Brian, thanks for doing this. We'll talk to you soon, my man.
Cheers. Thanks.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. For Shane Gamo, I'm Master Control. Thanks for watching Sick Podcast. I'll be back tomorrow night. I'm Marinaro.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. Lapointe, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.